It just throws runners, which if you haven't realized by now, I really cannot stand plants that throw out runners. Unless it's a Hoya, that's different. Climbing plants, I should be more specific, that just, you try to get them on a pole, but they want to grow this way and that way with long runners with no leaves on them instead. Those types of plants. They irritate me. Hey plant fam! Welcome back to my channel if you are new here. My name is Jaclynn. This is my jungle, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you for still being here. So you guys really enjoy it when I do my no buy lists, or the plants that I regret buying, the plants that I'll never buy again, plants that annoy me, etc. Videos like that you guys really seem to enjoy. So the last one that I did was my Hoya no buy list, but then I also gave you alternatives, and I thought it would be really fun to do that with Monstera. We have not talked about Monstera just like as a genus, and I feel like it might be partially because there's just not, like, there's a ton of variety for sure, but I feel like they're not necessarily all super popular. But I do have a handful of Monstera that I just don't mess with anymore, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I personally don't like these plants. Keep in mind again that these are my personal opinions. You might have these plants in your collection and absolutely love them. They might thrive for you, and I love that for you, boo, but it just isn't like that over here for me. So these videos are just meant to be fun. They're meant to be helpful, give you guys a little bit of validation too. You always enjoy when you can see that other people struggle with the same plants that you guys have struggled with before, and see that I struggle with plants too. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not an expert, certainly not a botanist, and I mess up a lot. I've messed up a ton over the last like 6 or so years that I have been growing and collecting plants. So I think it's really important to share that with people and to just let people know that there's no such thing as a green thumb. It's a learning experience, and you just kind of go with it. And you figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video and that you maybe agree with some of the plants that I have on this list. Okay, so the first Monstera on my list today of plants that I just don't plan on ever purchasing again is gonna be really surprising if you guys have been here for a while, because this was like my favorite plant for a really long time, and that is the Monstera Adansonii. I don't have these plants, so I am going to put pictures on the screen for you guys here. And everybody knows what the Adansonii looks like though, for the most part. So even like variegated ones, like all the things, I just won't do it. And it's a bummer because I do really love this plant, and I did have a regular green one that grew really big and really nice for me, and it was absolutely beautiful. But that was the first time that I got thrips. And they were like, ooh, yummy, Swiss cheese plant, which is a common name for the Monstera Adansonii. And I don't know, you know when you have a bad experience with a plant and you sort of develop just like this trauma around the plant. Like, I've been burned by it so many times that I just, when I see it, I have no desire to buy it. But thankfully, there are lots of other plants that look super similar, and my personal favorite that looks very similar but grows much larger is the Monstera Esqueleto, also known as Jared Leto, which is what I called it for a really long time. And I don't actually have mine anymore because I chopped her up and sold off all the cuttings, and then my mother plant died. So I don't have it anymore. But it is one that I would love to replace if I ever found a really nice large specimen. It's just not something that I actively look for. So I would love to know your experience in the comments below with the Esqueleto versus the Adansonii. I thought the Esqueleto was a lot easier and a lot more fun to grow. Of course, I killed mine, but I'm pretty sure that was my fault from neglecting it. We're better plant parents now that we have everything for the most part in one room. I am going to be doing a full plant room tour very soon, probably when we get back from Kentucky, so stay tuned for that. I'm very excited to show you guys everything that's going on in here, plus it'll motivate me to actually like clean and organize a little bit. Which is good. So yeah, number one on my list, Monstera Adansonii, and I'd say a really great alternative is the escaleto if you're looking for the same vibe. One of the reasons why I find the Adansonii to be super annoying, in my honest opinion, is just the growth pattern. It's the same issue that I have with a lot of climbing plants. They throw out these really long runners, they don't attach to the pole, and it can just be really, really irritating to get them going the way that you want them to go. The Adansonii loves to unfurl leaves like through the hole, through the fenestration of another leaf. And don't get me wrong, I love this. I still love this plant, and I probably will still get a very large one in the future when I have like the space for it, or I just happen to come across the right one. I just don't have the desire to like grow it myself. So that is why it's on my no-buy list, because anytime I see one in the store, I'm like, that's just so beautiful, but I'm so triggered right now. Okay, so number two on my list of Monstera that I will personally never buy again is the Monstera Peru, which is just a common name for it. It's like Kirstinia, I don't know. I've literally never called it that, and I've never like tried to write it or spell it, but I'll put it on the screen for you guys because people love to correct me in the comments, but like everybody just calls it Monstera Peru. So Monstera Peru is number two on my list because it's beautiful. It's a super unique looking plant. I have a really sad one in my kitchen, but I'm going to show you a really nice looking one on screen instead. And my main issue with the Monstera Peru is that it's a really slow grower, and it irritates the heck out of me. It does the same thing as the Adansonii too. It'll just throw out runners. So if you don't get it up a pole, you're not going to get nice big leaves on it. You're going to get really big internodal spacing, and it just becomes really straggly and leggy really quickly if it does grow for you. So I had to really sit and think about what a good alternative to this would be. And I should have mentioned this earlier. Not all of the alternatives are going to also be Monstera, because there's just not enough plant to like come up with a replacement. If you know of another Monstera that has the same kind of textured leaves that the Peru does, by all means, definitely share with the class. But for me, I was like, what plant kind of has the similar vibe, like the similar texture to the Monstera Peru, but is a much faster and more fun plant to grow? And the first one that came to mind was Anthurium luxurians, but of course, any pure Anthurium is going to be a little bit of a slower grower. So I don't personally have an Anthurium luxurians, but I do have a hybrid that's a really common hybrid. It is the Luxurians X Radicans, and she's pretty sad looking, I'm not gonna lie, but she did just put out this new leaf. I've had her for so long, that's why she looks like this, because she just kept on dying back and dying back and dying back because I did not know how to take care of Anthurium. But she put out a new pup over here that I need to just like separate, and I don't know, maybe cover this in moss and it might like pop out some new growth. But we do have a new baby over here on this side, and you can see the texture on the leaves is very similar, in my opinion, to the type of texture that you're gonna get from the Monstera Peru. So if you're in it for the look, the texture, the kind of bubbly, ripply, billowy type of leaf, then I think that this would be a really great alternative for you. And it is a pretty common one that I do see in plant shops and nurseries and sold for really cheap. I got this one for $25 a handful of years ago, but I've seen them for even cheaper than that. I just saw a couple literally yesterday in a plant shop. So Anthurium luxurians crossed with Radicans, both kind of have that same vibe to them. So, and hybrids are always a little bit easier and faster to grow. So I definitely recommend this one if you are into Anthurium. I know not everybody is. They're new for me too, newer for me anyway, but I am still going to keep on showing them and talking to you guys about them so that if you are interested, like I always was interested, I was just afraid of anthurium, and now I have tons of them, and I don't know what I was afraid of because they're some of the easiest plants to grow in my collection. So anyway, that is number 2 on my list, Monstera Peru. I do have the variegated one, which is even slower. But hopefully I can get it on a moss pole and get it growing and looking nice. But if you're looking for something else because you're just tired of the Monstera Peru, you've tried to grow it and it's a pain in the butt, this might be a really nice one for you to try instead. And of course, definitely let me know if you guys have any other alternatives in your head or in your collection, because I would love to know. Definitely share with us. I racked my brain trying to find plants that I think have the most like similar vibe to these ones. So I would love to know your opinions in the comments below. Love this one. She's so cute. Okay, so number 3 on my list, it should not be surprising if you guys ever go plant shopping with me. And I do have one, but it looks really sad, so I'm not going to show it to you. I've put it on the screen instead, and it is the Monstera Standeliana Albo, or Aurea, just the Standeliana in general. Sometimes you'll see them sold as Cobra. Sometimes they're labeled as a philodendron, but it is a Monstera. And I have seen them popping up from Costa Farms for sure. So if it's something that you want to try, they're super affordable now, like compared to what they used to be. But me personally, as much as I love this plant and as much as I think it's beautiful, I just hate growing it. I really genuinely hate growing it. It throws out runners if you don't get it on a pole. If you can get it on a pole and train it and get it to grow, it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. If you give it the right amount of light, it has a really nice tight internodal spacing, which just makes the plant look nice and full. So I do think it's an absolutely beautiful plant, and I'm not trying to deter you from purchasing it. If you want to, you should definitely try it out for yourself. This is just based off of my experience with the plant. I don't love growing it. I just don't. So therefore, I will not purchase another one. The one that I have is literally just because I got in inventory for you guys, and I held it back because it has all half moons, and it doesn't look great, but I would love to get it looking great, and then maybe I'll show it to you. But I was trying to think of options for plants that look similar, and it really kind of depends what it is about the Standeliana that you like. But for me, I think what I like about it most is the variegation. So if you're looking for something albo variegated, especially a Monstera, you should know where I'm going with this. The Monstera deliciosa, or Borsigiana, some people call it, I'm not sure if there's actually a difference or if that's actually accurate or not. I can speak. Words are good. We're good at sentences today. Monstera Albo is definitely one that I'm going to recommend to you over the Standeliana Albo. They're both Monstera, but obviously the leaf shape is going to be very different. This is more heart-shaped, so if you're in it for the leaf shape, then I don't think this is a great alternative. But if you're in it for the variegation, I'm here to tell you that this is one of the easiest plants you're ever going to have in your collection. I feel like a lot of people are afraid of this plant. It's definitely come down in price. It is still, you can get a cutting for like $50, and I will actually have some available if I haven't sold them already by the time you see this, because I genuinely don't know. I'm batch filming for while I'm on vacation. So Monstera Albo is a really great alternative, in my opinion, if you're in it for the variegation. But of course, if you prefer Aurea variegation, then you also have the Monstera Aurea. So if you like the Standeliana Aurea, or if you like the Standeliana Albo, you can achieve the same exact color and variegation patterns that you have on the Standeliana on the Deliciosa. So I 10 out of 10 recommend these. They grow a whole heck of a lot better. I just really love them a lot. So if I had to pick like a favorite Monstera, just like period, it's gonna be really cliche of me, but it's these guys. So Monstera Elbow, Monstera Aurea. 10 out of 10, recommend both of these. This one's the easiest in my personal opinion. This one can be a little bit more finicky. They're both easy, but this one's definitely easier. Do not be afraid of this plant. Do not be afraid of the variegation. I have lots of videos on my channel talking about how to maintain the white variegation, how to prevent the browning, what I use in my water, my fertilizer, all of that stuff to help not get the browning. The Aurea will brown a little bit easier. As you can see, some of these leaves have been trimmed back. So number 3 on my list of Monstera that I will not buy again is the Leliana, Elbow, and Aurea, and you should buy these ones instead. If you like it for the shape of the leaf, then I definitely have more suggestions coming, but you'll understand why I used it as an alternative for something else. You'll see. Because number 4 on my list is the Monstera Leliana. And I'm bummed to put this one on the list, and don't hold me to it. I genuinely don't know. I might try again with this plant because it was really pretty, and the reason why I'm triggered by it is because it rotted on me. I was trying so hard to grow this thing. It was so hard to propagate it too. Nobody told me they were really difficult to root. They're super difficult to root. I'm talking about the variegated one specifically. I have not tried the green one, but I love the shape of the leaf on this one. I love that it gets the little fennies. I just think it's such a cute plant, but I had such a hard time with it, and I genuinely don't know why. It could have potentially been the medium that I had it in. It could have potentially been that I wasn't watering it enough maybe, but I really just did not do well with this plant when I tried to just give it the same care as all of the rest of my aroids. So let me know in the comments below if you have any care tips, obviously, for Monstera Leliana, because I only have one experience with the plant and it was not a good one. But that could have been a me problem and not necessarily the plant's problem. But if for any reason you have struggled as well with the Leliana, I think that a really nice alternative for this plant would actually be the Epipremnum pinnatum elbow. And the reason why I chose the Epi elbow as the alternative for this one is not just the leaf shape. So it does have that more elongated leaf. So this could also be an alternative for the Leliana, which hopefully makes more sense to you now why I didn't put that one as the main alternative, but I definitely think it could work as an alternative if you're in it for the leaf shape. So they definitely have that more like elongated leaf, but the Leliana does not fenestrate, the Leliana does. So does the Epi elbow. So if you really love the look of that plant, I think that you can achieve a similar look with the Epipremnum elbow because it does fenestrate. It's an Epipremnum and it has very, very similar variegation. So I do think that that's a really great alternative. Again, let me know if you know of any other Monstera types that are easier to grow, that are similar, because there are so many species of Monstera. There are just, they all kind of look really similar too, I'm not gonna lie, especially as they mature. But everybody loves fenestrations, everybody loves a holy leaf. So I think that the Epi elbow would make a really great alternative for this one. But again, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments below, because I racked my brain trying to think of a plant that would be easy to access and affordable and be similar for people who maybe either can't find the plant that they want, or they are like me and they've struggled with the Leliana. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Epi elbow is also kind of annoying to grow, but it's not, it has never like rotted on me. It just throws runners, which if you haven't realized by now, I really cannot stand plants that throw out runners. Unless it's a Hoya, that's different. Climbing plants, I should be more specific, like philodendron and Epipremnum, that just, you try to get them on a pole, but they want to grow this way and that way with long runners with no leaves on them instead. Those types of plants, they irritate me. So yeah, Monstera Leliana is number 4 on my list of Monstera that I do not plan on buying again. Although, if you guys give me some care tips and instill me with a false confidence, I may very well try again one day in the future. So don't hold me to it. It's just meant for fun, okay? Okay, so number 5 on my list is really funny because I made this list a little while ago before filming, obviously, and then if you watched my import unboxing, they sent me one, and it is Monstera Dubia. This is number 5 on my list of plants that I will never buy again, and in my defense, I didn't buy this. So Aroid Asia sent this to me in a box that I did a video with them unboxing some stuff, but I have it, so I'm gonna try and get it to, the new growth shriveled up, which is a bummer, but I am gonna try and get it to grow and shingle for me. But if you are like me and you don't like this plant, because honestly I don't like it because it shingles, is really what it comes down to. Otherwise it's absolutely stunning. Who doesn't like silver Monstera? It will lose its silver as the leaves mature, and it does fenestrate as it matures as well. The reason why I would never buy this personally is because I just don't buy shingling plants anymore, like period. Like it's just not even syndapsis. I genuinely just don't. I will not, I cannot, and I won't do it. So if you also hate a shingling plant as much as I do, but you love the look of this one, thankfully there are lots of other plants that have similar silvery vibes to them. The first one that came to my mind though with like the pattern of the silver is the Silpha Picana, which is a Monstera as well, and it just has more of like an Epipremnum vibe, the Silpha Picana. I'll put it on the screen for you here. I think there's another one called El Salvador that gets even bigger. So the leaf shape is different, but the variegation is very, very similar on these two plants. So I would say that if you can't get the Dubia, or you just don't want the Dubia, that a Silpha Picana would be a very easy alternative for you to acquire. However, of course, if you love this plant because it shingles but you cannot find it, then a syndapsis would be a great alternative for you, especially one that has more silvery variegation. There are so many syndapsis, it is wild. There's the Silver Hero, Silver Splash, like I genuinely can't keep up. I love Silver Lady, but they do kind of have a similar vibe. So number 5 is more, if you just can't find it, there's lots of alternatives that are similar. It just kind of depends on why you like the plant. If you like it because of the variegation, the Silpha Picana is going to be a great alternative. If you like it because it shingles but you just can't find this one, then a syndapsis is going to be a great alternative for you. So that is number 5 on my list of Monstera that I will not buy again, even though it was literally just sent to me, which I actually like laughed when I took it out of the box. I was like, really? What are the odds, right? Okay, fam, so that is my list. That is my top 5 Monstera that I will not be purchasing again, and some alternatives that I think are equally great and beautiful. And if you've struggled with these plants, maybe you want to try some of the alternatives. Or if you just can't find these plants for whatever reason, they're not available to you, then maybe some of the alternatives will be. And I would love to know if you guys enjoyed this video in the comments below. And of course, you should give this video a thumbs up. It definitely really helps me out with the algorithm. Leave me a comment, also really helps with the algorithm, even if it's just an emoji. You can leave me the red circle with the line through it emoji, like, no, we're not gonna buy these, right? If you watched this whole entire video. And I love you guys so very much. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything from me in the future. I hope that you're having a beautiful day wherever you are out there in the world. Don't forget to spread kindness. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.